The whole Chicken Genius Meet Kevin drama really makes me wonder why finance YouTubers have beef with each other. Literally, we all depend on each other for collabs, video ideas, people finding our channels because of being recommended against the other channels. Let me expand on this real quick before we continue back to the video. I was having a meeting with Dave Lee, okay? Yes, I'm going to flex a little bit. I was having a private meeting with Dave Lee. We were talking about something. By the way, Joseph Carlson is going to be on the channel next Monday. Super excited to have him on there. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. I'm going to really try to question his Netflix thesis because I don't get it. But we're going to be talking about stuff. If you guys have any questions, leave that in the comments or just DM me on Twitter or at me on Twitter on questions you want me to ask him. Okay? And when I was talking to Dave Lee, he brought up a really good point. His argument was the reason channels like me can get an audience is not because of me. It's not even because of YouTube's algorithm. It's because Dave Lee has 200,000 people that care about his videos. Now think about this for a second. If I was making Tesla videos, or let's use Tom Nash's again. Tom Nash is doing Palantir videos, right? 300,000 subscribers. And you start doing Palantir videos, like me, in November. Who do you think YouTube is going to recommend your content in front of? Tom Nash. So when Tom Nash puts up a new video, in the up next section, they're going to put Amit's video because it's tangentially related to the topic that Tom's talking about, which is Palantir. This is why all these people are using like Meet Kevin's face and all this stuff because they know they can get clicks. Now, what does that mean? What that means is you need the big guys on the platform to be successful for the little guys to even have a shot. You need the Tom Nashes, the Dave Lees, the Meet Kevins, the Jeremy Financial Educations, the Graham. You need those guys because they're controlling the majority of attention on YouTube in the finance space, whether you like it or not. So if that's the case, the only way think about a recommendation engine. A recommendation engine is only good if it recommends content in a meaningful way. So my content around Palantir, where is YouTube going to put that in front of? They're not going to put it in front of cooking videos or baking videos or like fashion try-on videos. Why? Because no one's going to care about the Palantir video underneath or on the up next of the fashion video. Why? Because no one cares about Palantir if they're looking for fashion. It's a totally different demographic of an audience. And YouTube is not relevant. Netflix is not relevant. None of these platforms are relevant if they're not recommending and giving impressions, which is an impression is like putting your video in front of a screen display for at least 50% of the screen. That's how YouTube defines it. If they're not taking advantage of that real estate, that video of me in front of a fashion girl makes no sense, but another fashion girl being there means another fashion creator gets to get discovered by someone else who's interested in fashion. So the point Dave Lee was bringing up to me was like, the only reason I can get 11,000 subscribers, the only reason Freelance Finance can get 3,000 subscribers, and they will get many more later, is if they're able to get their content to be in front of or recommended against the content that people already care about, which is the Tom Nashes, the Meet Kevins of the world. And that's my point on Twitter. This is what I pointed the thread. I'm like, we should all be able to exist and freely exchange ideas without it feeling like some insane competition for views. If there was one YouTube finance person, no one would watch YouTube finance. That is my argument. That is my thesis. And it's not a controversial thesis. Why would anyone watch YouTube finance if there's not a thriving community of people caring about YouTube finance? Right? Like the reason people, why do we care about vloggers? A vlog is pretty boring at the end of the day. Like, you're just, hey guys, I'm at the grocery store. But it's really exciting. Why? Because Casey Neistat, if you guys know some YouTube history, made vlogging really popular. And then a bunch of other people started emulating them, getting their own styles. And then it was this network effect of vlogs on YouTube that made it interesting. Jeremy Financial Education was one of the first finance education people, and then, you got more and more. But, YouTube finance is a relatively small niche compared to all the other forms of entertainment that exist. Think about it. You guys, including myself, every day we get on YouTube and we watch people talk in front of a camera like this. That is boring content. That's not exciting content. The reason you actually watch someone talk in front of a camera is because you care about what they have to say. So I made a video today about Palantir and Google. You probably really care about what I had to say, which is why you are willing to watch a random dude talk in front of his camera. It was more exciting to you than something on Netflix at the time. That only happens if there's a thriving finance community on YouTube. And the beef within the finance community of people competing for views and attention and who's right about the stock market or who's right about selling, or it's all nonsense at the end of the day. Because the only way for all of us to thrive is for all of us to have collective audiences that find each other from other videos. Again, I don't get recommended for Palantir content if Palantir content isn't thriving on YouTube. Same thing with these guys on Tesla and all these other stocks. So my point is, and this, I get into this. I said this is why Tom Nash is someone who I will always respect. He gave me an interview when I had no subs. The whole upside of that interview was for me. I remember I posted it. That first day got like 1,000 views, and that was big for me, man. I never got 1,000 views in a day. That was huge, and it took Tom 30 minutes of his life, but it meant the world to me. And that gave me a lesson to never reject an interview from someone just starting. And recently, I did an interview the other day with some guy, I think his name is like Trade the Trader. And, it was a 50-minute interview. I had no upside in that interview at all. But I gave him the interview because, like, why am I on some mighty throne now that I can't give an interview to someone when Tom Nash was giving an interview to me? So my argument is that it should all be rooted in love. Like, this YouTube finance beef, it's so sad because we're competing for views and all this stuff. It's like, yes, views are important. Yes, like, you want to have attention, you want to have influence, but none of this matters if Chicken Genie Singapore leaves YouTube, that's good for nobody. None of us benefit off that. Because if he's there and he's putting out more videos, you have a chance to get your videos recommended against other people's videos. Like, it's just logical to me, and it's kind of sad to see how it's happening.